who, oh my God, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so pathetic. And then half of y'all are like fossilized, and y'all already know what I mean by that. Another thing is that a lot of y'all just look the same. Y'all look alike. I know I be seeing this one guy that be popping up on my FYP. You know, a lot of people been roasting on his old ass lately. He's sitting up here on his back porch filming shit, man, the same old type of videos, like 25 videos in a row on his back porch. Like, you're sitting up here talking about passports, past 25 videos, and you're still here on your back porch. Like, when are you gonna be leaving? Been talking about it for what, 2-3 months now? You could have been gone. You could have been gone. Why are you still talking about passports and leaving? I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
It's your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, coming at you again with another YouTube video. And the sound clip that you just heard is from one of our female detractors that has a lot of negative feedback for the Passport Bros. And to sum up pretty much what she was saying, she pretty much said that she thinks it's pathetic that you keep talking about, you know, passports and traveling, but we're still in the States and we're never leaving, and we're just there, just you know, wasting time on for the most part, for a dream that'll never take place. So I kind of wanted to address this talking point and kind of, you know, debunk it a little bit and give my feedback on it. So, you know, first off, for example, if I have a dream and I want to build a business, you're not gonna, for the most part, you're not gonna build a business necessarily overnight. And even if you do, I'm referring to a prosperous business that is, you know, taking you to like a multi-millionaire level. I'm sure in most people's minds when they start a business, they have this big view of how it's going to look. I'm gonna have this big store. It's going to be like this, and they work towards that dream. And the whole point of me bringing up this whole you know, scenario about businesses is that it's kind of the same thing with the Passport Bros. A lot of us have, you know, aspirations to live overseas, to travel overseas. But here's the thing. Not all of us start off on the same type of footing. Some of us come from more wealthier backgrounds. Some of us come from, you know, more, you know, less fortunate backgrounds where we have to really get it out of the mud, go to school, you know, get certain degrees, work hard to really get to a point where we're even like, you know, self-sufficient. So that being said, the frequency in which some brothers can travel versus others is going to be completely different. And also, our goals and our aspirations are going to be, you know, slightly different. You know, there's some Passport Bros that completely want to, you know, leave the United States altogether and live in another country. There's some Passport Bros that just want to, you know, they want to travel maybe, you know, a few months out of the year, come back to the States, you know, stash up some money, that kind of thing. And I say that to say that all of us have our own view, our own vision of how the Passport Bro movement is going to work for each of us. And that being said, regardless of what your vision is or your dream, it always going to take, for a lot of us, it's going to take us putting in the time and work. And I say that to say that a lot of people on the outside, in particular this woman, she's not taking a perspective that the guy she's referring to, because what she brought up was there was a guy, she said, that's like almost 60 years old or something like that. He's out on his porch. He's making videos about being a Passport Bro, traveling. But she said, oh, but he's always there. He's never leaving. When are you going to leave? Not taking into account, she doesn't know this guy's situation. He may have things tying him to the States like a lot of us do. We have family. Some Passport Bros have kids. You know, they have obligation to the States. Some of them own, you know, some Passport Bros own businesses. So there are lots of things that are going to obligate you to stay in the States. You can't just up and just leave and then just try to make it in another country. It'd be very stupid to do that. And most of us, you know, I want to say nearly all of us don't do that. I mean, so that's one thing to take into account. Also, she got to keep in account that this guy, she had, like, again, you know, me not knowing the situation the guy she's speaking of, I'm assuming maybe he's like, let's assume like he's in a very small house. Maybe it's like 1-2 bedrooms. It's in a very rundown area. He's talking about being a Passport Bro. I'm assuming he probably only makes let's say $30,000 a year. Unbeknownst to her, she don't know he might be retiring in 5 years. He might just be there waiting for the 5 years. In the meantime, he's being smart. He's stacking up money, putting in his bank account. Most people, and I challenge most people to do this. If you go into Google and you look up how to retire in Ecuador, how to retire in the Philippines, how to retire in Mexico, you will learn that you actually don't need that much money. I think that what people were saying, even in Ecuador, you can, if you were able to stash up about $200,000, you can live there like a king, pretty much for the rest of your life once you retire. And they have a whole like strategy of plan how to go about it, where to live, all that kind of thing. You even have people in the States, even some females, that when they retire, they move to like Mexico City, parts of Mexico. They live there because the rent is so cheap, cost of living is so cheap, and they live like kings. And that small amount they got from their 401k, they're able to live on that, for the rest of their years. So they're able to, do it with ease. So, what they look at is us, and I guess in her eyes, it's us just, being delusional about like a, false dream, that kind of thing. But it's, which unbeknownst to her is really us doing planning. We're doing planning. We're doing research. We're really documenting our whole, our challenges, our struggles, and overcoming those challenges and struggles. You have a lot of brothers that, record videos of them making their transition from the States all the way to these other countries. There was a few travelers I know that went to Africa, and they pretty much, like one guy in particular, he has a YouTube channel. He I can't remember quite his name, but originally he was younger, maybe like 10 years ago. He was just going out to Africa trying to figure out if it was like the perfect place to to restart and maybe start businesses, that kind of thing. So he has lots of videos about him trying to go to like places like Ghana, South Africa, trying to start businesses. He talks about some of the struggles, the cost of doing business there. And I believe eventually he was able to get like, he was able to do like some, and don't quote me on this, but I believe he was able to get into some type of like real estate there. And I have to look further into this, but either way, what I'm trying to say is eventually now he's at a point where he can actually just live in the country permanently if he wants to. From that, and also so much from like, YouTube, his channel and everything like that, he's set now. And that was like almost like a 10-year struggle. So I'm sure that when he's coming back to the States and he's telling his mom, he's telling his friends, oh, my dream is to live in Africa, to live in Ghana. I want to eventually be there. I'm sure some of them are looking at him just like this woman is, like, oh, that's a joke, that's a dream. Get that up. You need to just focus here in the States. Deal with the problems here in the States. Deal with the women here. Why are you going there? You're just dreaming. You kind of out of your mind. And I'm sure he had to really toughen up and had to really, really believe in the vision that God had given him and work towards that. And he eventually did it. And he was able to be successful. And now he lives permanently in Africa. He has his own YouTube channel. Things are going well there. He has a nice place. He has a nice house. He doesn't broadcast much on like, dealing with a lot of the women and stuff there. He does more like with the culture. But I'm pretty sure with the level of success he has, he's not struggling with the women. Because I can assure you, even in Africa, I've heard about different parts of Africa where men have like multiple wives and that kind of thing. So I'm sure he's not struggling at all with female attention. So he's doing quite well. And I say to say about this guy that she brought up, or even these other guys that they see, if they keep working hard at it, I'm pretty sure they're going to reach their goal. And it's I'm going to say to some degree even easier. In fact, there was a guy, he has a YouTube channel as well. The guy had recently retired. I think he was in his 50s. He retired in his 50s, and what he did is he saved up about $20,000. He went to the Philippines. He bought a house flat out, so that way he don't have to pay any type of mortgage. And they live out in the Philippines, and it's a very small house. It has about, I think, like maybe like 1-2 rooms, small little living room. It has like a little dining area. It wasn't a huge house. Like and pretty much they he only pays for like small things like internet, electricity, like food, that kind of thing. But if you think about the fact that most people's biggest bill is their rent and their mortgage, he pretty much eliminated that. And not only that, he's retired. So let's say he even retired on like $30,000. I'm sorry. Let's say he retired. He retired and from his Social Security. Let's say it's equivalent to receiving about making $30,000 a year. Do you know how you can live on $30,000 a year remote in the Philippines? You live really, really well, much better than you live in the States. So he has his retirement money coming in from his for Social Security, and I'm sure he has some money in his 401k and that kind of thing. And I'm sure you don't need that much to live out your days. I believe he was around like they'll just say like 55 or something like that. And on top of that, he met a woman there. He married her. They have one kid. And I'm sure the cost of living there is really great compared to the States. So he is like living it up. And I'm sure before he did that, when he was back in the States, same thing. People around him, not even just some of the females, might even been some of the males, just saying you're crazy for going over there. But he had a dream, he had a vision. He went after it, he got it, and now he's happy, and he has his own YouTube channel now. So I say that to say this. I even looked at some of the comments of this woman's video, and one of the comments was, "Oh, you're 30 and you're looking for a passport. Ha 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 ha." And they put the little laughing emojis up there. And then another one said, "Oh, the guy is 60 and now he just gets a passport, dusty." And it said, "Ha ha ha ha." Well, let me tell you this. Well, how does it feel to be in your late 30s and now you're looking for marriage? How does it feel to be in your late 40s, now you're looking for marriage? In your late 50s, now you're looking for marriage. When you know that the key years that you should be looking for a husband should be in your 20s, and I give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe up to about, and I'm stretching it, I would say maybe like 33 or something like that. You can kind of swing it, because pretty much after that is, I believe it's called geriatric pregnancy, which is, where you kind of are at risk now about having a baby. And I just say that to say that, if you don't think it's, I don't understand why you want to crap on men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, wanting to travel and make a life that's better for themselves. But, these women here with these outrageous standards that in many cases are going to ruin their life, because when they wind up in their late 30s and 40s, they have no husband because they chose a career or the ego over a family. They're going to, I assure you, at some point when they get around 50, 60 years old, they have no husband, no kids, and their sister or auntie has their sisters or, some of their friends, they have this big family and they got grandchildren, and that woman has nothing. I assure you they're going to look back on that and regret that they made those decisions. Versus the passport bros, let's say the ones that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. You do understand that men, we can have children all the way up in our 70s, probably beyond that. Not that I would recommend you do it that late, just for the fact that life expectancy isn't that high. And at some point, you don't know how your health is going to kind of, fall apart. You may want to have, hopefully, at least some children earlier. Or maybe if you have a family that's very supportive, you have, brothers, sisters that can kind of care for you. But technically, theoretically, you actually could. Which is why the guy who was in his 50s, he was able to, start a family. Actually, there's a show called 90 Day Fiance, and there was a guy on there, I believe he was about 58. And he already had children previously, but he met a woman in the Philippines who was, I believe she was about 20 years old. He married her. He wound up marrying a woman that was, he even at 58 years old, he was still able to get a woman in her 20s in the Philippines. And even on the show was another guy, I believe he was in his 50s as well. He married a woman in her 20s from Thailand as well. And I say that to say that, for a lot of the passport bros, even in their later stages of life, let's say they didn't find out about the whole passport bro movement in the younger years, and they're like a late bloomer, and let's say they settled down with some women in the States, it turned out poorly, they got divorced, as long as they kind of could come out of the divorce, without too much damage and can kind of at least manage that, they still have a good chance at, like, you know, getting their dreams and visions back on the right path, and not letting that keep them from traveling if that's what they want to do. As I said before, especially in Southeast Asia, like, a lot of women are not really, they don't really care as much about an age difference. So it's very easy for you, even after retirement, to still go out there and start a family if that's what you want to. Maybe the first portion of your life you didn't really enjoy it that well. You had, a lot of bad experience with some of the, American and Western women. I would encourage you to still go out there and give it a chance and travel. I think you'll be much happier in the end. And so, I'm gonna leave it at that. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Please leave your comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the thumbs up and hit the notification bell. And until next time, this is your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, signing off.